Oh my goodness, how is everybody doing? If I'm winded, I'll tell you why I'm winded. It's because I just did half this video and the recording button was on record. Dumb alert. Anyways, yeah, so, yeah, I don't know, let's go back to this. Michael Masata, author, beta reader, ghostwriter, editor. Whoa. Yeah, I've written a couple books myself. Oh my goodness, love them. Bright Dreadful Sun is around here somewhere, love it. So, yeah, like, this year I've definitely blasted that 100 mark, that 100 amateur manuscript mark that I've received. So I'm well over it. I thought 2023 was going to be a slowdown year. I was wrong. It's still, I'm buried in manuscripts, dude. It's the better I get, the more I get. And, I'm not going to talk about this too much. I've become a lot better. So with that being said, I think my advice is becoming a little bit more concise. And yeah, with that being said, I'm trying to give you guys a little bit of value. The way I approach my beta reads, for example, my ghostwriting as well, is I want to provide the value I would love to receive as an author. So with that being said, I definitely go ham every single beta read, and I really just kind of just go into it. So this is batch content. We just did the other video. This is kind of like a part 2, which I like to do. So last time we commented on presentation, genre, characters. Oh my goodness. Get your antagonists in there. Don't have silhouette characters. Setting, magic system, plot, pacing. Today we'll be looking at a couple different things, okay? Today. But the second part of the video. So what do we got over here? The difference between my channel and a lot of other writing advice channels, my channel has an emphasis on psychology. Okay, I got the licensure. So with that being said, a lot of the things I kind of focus on is the psychological aspects of writing, because that's very important. And a lot of times people will even ask me, they'll be like, do you think I should get a creative writing degree? And I'm not here to tell you no or yes, but I've taken creative writing classes, and nothing has helped me more in my writing than psychology, So with that being said, you're writing humanistic elements. So with that being said, if you understand the human brain, how it works, even how it registers information, your writing will bomb blast itself to the top. It'll get really, really good in terms of skill and execution, technique, and all these things. You want to practice, definitely for sure. But with that being said, yeah, so the aspects on this channel are more geared and curtailed towards psychology. We talked about the Jungian archetypes last time. We talked about neurological associations, such as the way the mind likes to learn. And this is very important writing too. Is I'm regurgitating what I just did and on what didn't record. Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm reading a script. No, I just rant. Anyways, yeah. So the mind relates. We associate. That's how the mind learns. We register, associate. We're constantly linking information. So understand that. If you understand how the mind learns, how the mind remembers, then you'll understand how you should write, okay, a little bit better. Also, at the same time, a lot of times people overestimate the human brain. Do not make the mistake of overestimating our brains, especially mine. Cuckoo. I'm just kidding. Or am I? Don't overestimate our brains, okay? So the human mind is a lot more feeble than we think it is, So our memories are not feeble. And you got to keep your reader in mind that they have one of these feeble human brains. On one side, it's a marvel of existence. It's so complex. But at the other time, in certain regards, we don't overestimate the human mind. Get clarity in the picture. That's very important. Clarity, and almost like a 5-star dish, you want complex simplicity, okay? You don't want a buffet of nonsense, cheap food. You want complex simplicity with a lot of different beautiful components. Elevate it. So what do we got on the list right now? Let's see what we got. Main character and character profiles. Wonderful. Very good. So how do you construct a great main character? Well, from a psychological perspective, in my opinion, okay, you're going to want to go and approach Jungian archetypes first before literary archetypes. A little bit different, as I said in the other video. So Jungian archetypes relate more towards actual humans, our personalities, and the underlying personalities that relate in our subconscious. If you understand Jungian archetypes, then you'll be able to understand how to humanize your characters on a deeper level. So the hero archetype in the Jungian archetype is not the same as the hero archetype in literary terms. A hero archetype in psychology, it relates to somebody that enjoys mastery. Okay, so they're like kind of like me. I'm always trying to get better. I'm always trying to really just kind of improve myself, which is a good aspect to have, but it has its drawbacks. I could get very over eccentric. So look at that. Right then and there. So your main character, you make them relatable. You want to make them memorable. And how do you make things memorable? Relation. You want to definitely You want to have association, so your characters are basically, kind of bouncing off somebody. Almost you want to be able to kind of know this character on a deeper level, and you want to be able to associate and relate to them, which is very important. And that's important even for antagonists. Like you want to humanize people, and you got to understand how to humanize in fiction, because a lot of people, they don't. It's silhouette characters, silhouette characters, just characters that are mannequins. How many of those? If reassess your manuscript right now, if you're an amateur author, I guarantee you have silhouette characters right now, or silhouette aspects. Especially in your first draft, you're always going to have those. There's a lot of that too. I'll receive manuscripts, and sometimes the author is like, I'm ready to go. No, no, I don't think so. Pal. Some people could get really, a little. Because I can be very constructive, criticize. Very rarely am I on the huge complimentary side, but I do get that balance, and that's very important. You want to lift the author up. You don't want to knock them down. So main characters are one of those things where I will tell you, I'll be like, no, like, bro, you gotta focus on your main characters. You want to give them those Jungian archetypes. You want to have that for a lot of your characters too, because they're all mostly human. A lot of times, even if you're writing like sci-fi fantasy, I gotta go faster, by the way. I'm only on the first one. If you're writing sci-fi fantasy, for example, there's gonna be a lot of like foreign names and extraneous characters, but usually they're gonna have humanistic traits, humanistic qualities. And with that being said, you're gonna want to go ahead, add that humanistic. And I made the comparison to myself last time. So with that being said, let's say I'm the main character in your profile. I'm the main character in your novel. You're definitely gonna want to take notice about it. What am I doing right now? How do I talk? I'm a fast talker. I talk with my hands a lot. So with that being said, if your main character is me in your novel, you want to nail that unique voice. I'm a very unique person, so like me, you could just bow. You could already from this video, you could pluck me out, make me a main character. But how do you use that contrast? If you saw me going up one day and I was like, hey, how you doing, man? Like you would say like, okay, something's wrong with this guy. You know what I mean? He's not acting how he's normally acting, which is already something wrong with this guy. But anyways, so with that being said, construct your character profiles as well. This is another way you can kind of stray away from the silhouette characters. A lot of people are pantsers. I am not a fan of that. Why? Is because I could always tell. There's always massive incongruencies. And a lot of pantsers like, what are you talking about, bro? If you're going to go for a psychological evaluation or you're going to talk to somebody, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to profile that person. The next thing you're going to do is interview them. And by that point, you already got a great baseline. So if you're going off to a stranger and you don't know the stranger and he's behind a curtain and he's a silhouette, what do who the fuck is this? I mean, who the heck is this guy? You're not going to know. Sorry for swearing. YouTube, don't take me down. Yeah, so with that being said, character profiles are very important. And just in general, having that concise game plan at the beginning. This is not even on the list, but having a concise game plan, having a beautifully elevated notes page. I would rather see a notes page than an amateur manuscript any day of the week. I could even take a look at your notes page and I could be like, okay, so, there's a lot I could tell just from that. So if you're a pantser, go back. If you're done with your first draft, double check your notes page. If you don't have a notes page, you should have one. And at the same time, starting out, you should start out with a beautiful notes page. A lot of pantsers will disagree, but this is how I'm able to knock out novels like that. You know what I mean? Ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. So this is how I'm able to write 50K novels in like less than a month easy. I have several on my plate right now. Okay. Easy is a funny word, by the way. Easy is a funny word. It's all about the system. So, yeah, that's number 2, character profiles. Yeah, you want to do that for everything to appearance, to like stop the video right now. And profile me. Go ahead. Just look at me, look at what I'm dressed, look what I'm wearing. Baggy clothes, long hair. I'm a unique character. V-neck, I wasn't wearing a V-neck, but before in the other video, I changed my shirt to another white shirt. Why? I don't know. The beanie, I'm always wearing my beanie. I'm a unique character. So just train yourself to look at people. World building. Wow, I already had 10 minutes. I don't know if I could even get past all of this. But anyways, world building. I have a whole entire video, maybe from a month back or something like that, about world building. Very interesting. So, let's make it short. You want to make the foreign feel familiar. Wonderful. Like I said, the mind disdains what it doesn't know. It enjoys a challenge sometimes. When it wants to deviate deliberately, the mind loves a challenge. But when it's taking out of its comfort zone, the mind hates that. It disdains that. And you'll see successful people and they love being ripped out of their comfort zone, but they're 1 in a million. Pretty much. So with that being said, a lot of people, they don't like being taken out of their comfort zone, and world building is about that. you're literally ripping somebody out from their couch, like me, and you're putting them in this foreign world. So you want to make the foreign feel familiar. You want to make them learn. You want to like also make them feel as if they belong there. You know. So if you're building up, if you're building up this crazy world, you know that doesn't make sense. Sometimes it's better to not reinvent the wheel, which is my recommendation. Actually, most times is know the formulas and write a great story, as opposed to making it overly complex. And it's sloppy writing. No. Keep it real. You know, like stay. Don't reinvent the wheel too much. You know, because your cart might not move. You know, there's a reason why it works, and there's a reason why it doesn't. So with that being said, make the foreign feel familiar. You know, elevate your settings. You know, you want to kind of have a balance between familiarity but also foreign. Like make it foreign feel familiar. That's a consistency in world building. Anything down to the magic. I didn't put magic system on here. Oh no, I did in the other video, magic system. Yeah, but that's definitely important. Your world building. You know, look at different ways. Also, from a psychological perspective, this is very interesting, and it's very good for you to go to new places. This is understand why. Even if you go to like, let's say, a different state, that gives your mind a bit of a mental challenge. It refreshes it. And that's how you kind of make the mind learn, is through neuroplasticity, exposing things to like brand new scenarios. But at the same time, you know, that should be an enjoyable experience. You know, even if you're writing a tension-based novel, you're definitely going to want to focus up on that. Next, I have drafts. Okay, because I've gotten to the point where I'm starting to guide people on how to do the next drafts. I've done that before, but now that I've had years of experience, I'm seeing who's getting published, I'm seeing who's getting the deals, and I'm seeing who's not. I'm seeing who's abandoning their manuscripts completely. So at this point, I've already gotten enough experience so I can know just basically from the top what kind of draft approach you should take. So with that being said, there are two different ways you could kind of approach drafting: reductive approach and additive approach. Okay. Rarely do I ever expect to recommend an additive approach. People, when they send you manuscripts, that's what they want to do. They want to, okay, now we got to add this. Okay, now I got to add this. No, 9 times out of 10, you're going to want to take a reductive approach. And that's anything from glue words to line by line level elevation. And just even in general, I can't tell you how many times that you don't want sparing material. You don't want cotton candy fluff. You know, you want a beautiful 5-star elevated dish. Maybe you want kind of candy, but I don't know. There are novels that are just pure fluff. But anyways, I can guarantee you, your writing, especially if you're an amateur author, has a lot of this fluff material, and you don't want that in there. You know, the mind doesn't like that. You want all these elements to constantly be holding hands, you know, playing off each other. Kind of like a game of ping pong a little bit. Maybe not ping pong, but almost like what comes to mind is like the picture of people holding hands on top of the world. Something like that. You want all the fundamentals playing off each other. You don't want absence of fundamentals. You don't want that because it's fluff, and I guarantee right now your manuscript is littered with that. So double check. Sensory detail. I actually had this as detail, but let's just jump to sensory detail. Because from a neuropsychological perspective, the mind, especially the subconscious mind, when in a theta state, especially, careful. Because sometimes, especially if your story's good and depending on where the readers are, they can dip near that theta level, that theta brain level where they learn so much easier. Sensory detail is important for that. So when the mind is in this deep reading state, it registers everything as real. Isn't that kind of cool? Anyways, the subconscious mind, you feed it, and it just says that's correct. That's correct. Your subconscious mind is a yes man. So if you said the world is purple, your subconscious mind in the theta state will go, oh yeah, it is purple. As I have my hypnotherapy license. So with that being said, you know, when you're hypnotizing people, when you're doing that, you want to be careful about the small words. This is very important in writing, by the way, especially on that line by line level elevation. You want to pepper in very choice words. You want to do it deliberately. You want to make it very subtle. Okay. And this happens a lot with sensory detail. That's how you really involve the mind in a story, the subconscious mind. You're really getting that sensory detail in there because we hear, taste, touch, and all that. Specifics definitely work a lot better with that. But also at the same time, when it comes to, you know, hypnotherapy, hypnosuggestions, and when it comes to that in your writing, this is how it relates, is putting those choice words in your writing, those choice detail that you want the reader to remember, you also want them to forget. It's like a really weird kind of backwards concept, but you want to program them, and then you want to make them forget their programming. So with that being said, that happens in writing. You want to decide what you want the reader to take away from it, and also at the same time, let them infer. You put it on a plate, take away the plate. Give them this, give them that. Maybe that's a funny comparison because they ordered the food, but at the same time, give them something, an appetizer. Give them an appetizer they didn't expect. Give them some bread, and then they'll be like, okay, and then they're a little bit more full. They didn't know they're gonna be more full. Anyways, yeah, whatever. It's kind of funny there. Dialogue. Okay, we're reaching the 15-minute mark. Dialogue is very important. So when it comes to dialogue, I recommend formulaic approaches. Okay, beats. Know your beats. Know your rhythm. Understand how you should use dialogue. Very important. You should be playing off the literary fundamentals, especially nonverbal communication. This is very important. Notice me. Like I said, I am littered with nonverbal. I'm a hand talker. So with that being said, why is that? Well, the mind registers nonverbal information more than it does words. Okay, so you're right now, if you're watching this video, yeah, you might kind of absorb a little bit of this, but you'll definitely kind of anchor onto the nonverbals. So that's how you could definitely remember. So in your writing, get those nonverbals in there. It's very important. So like that could happen with dialogue. Like let's say the dialogue is, "I know you did it," and then he takes out a Marlboro cigarette, lights it, blows a thing in his face, in the other character's face. Well, that's good dialogue because it's been added. I know you did it has now been elevated to the max. Like there's so many things. That's off the dome. I should write that down. You could take with nonverbals. It's so powerful, man. If you're gonna take away one of the things from this video, definitely focus on your nonverbals. Don't make them generic either, but you could also make them subtle. That's a little trick. Interact with the environment. You know what I mean? So, like something you could do something like that. Just double check. Like notice what I'm doing when I'm doing it and how I'm talking. Open palm. I'm brushing my face. Blink rate. A lot of different things that could go into this, and a lot of people think it's mundane to write all that stuff. Sure, you want to do it with moderation, but also double check right now. Because I guarantee you, your manuscript is filled with glue. Okay, filled with glue. It's filled with nonsense things that don't contribute. So put things on a scale. Would I rather describe a little bit more nonverbals? Would I rather describe a little bit more setting when it needs it? Or should I contribute to the fluff? Yeah, so with that being said, definitely focus on all these things. Get those character profiles in there. Get the beautiful elevated note sheets. Get your world building. Make the foreign feel familiar. Your drafts, I don't even know you. And I recommend a reductive approach as opposed to an additive, especially on the first draft. I guarantee you're going to need a reductive approach, at least in some elements. Do a lot. Have I recommend additive approach? Yeah, I actually do all the time. But I usually 9 times out of 10 recommend a reductive approach. Usually when I recommend the additive approach, it's when it's either A, it needs elevation, or B, the word count for the goal is way too short. Like I've gotten manuscripts that are like definitely not where they need to be in terms of word count. Like a chapter, for example, could be like 7 paragraphs. Like what? You know what I mean? Or like something like that. These are situations where I would recommend additive approaches. Sensory detail. Get that sensory detail in there because the mind loves it. It eats it up almost literally. The subconscious mind registers. The subconscious is a yes man. Don't forget that. It says yes, 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 yes to everything you say. It could say, "Hey, Mike, you're 50 feet tall and you're purple." Yes, I am 50 feet tall and I'm purple. That's how the subconscious works. So, man, understand these psychological concepts. Focus on them and your writing will improve. Don't think you're all that just because you've read a lot of books. You've written a lot. Hey, I see a lot of writing advice authors on here too. Great books, and just because something is published doesn't mean it's fantastic writing either. I mean, I like to compare it to rap artists. You know what I mean? There's a lot of famous rap artists, a lot of great ones, but some of these are just rinse and repeat. Yeah, they got a deal, but come on. Are they boom, ba boom? No, I don't think so. So with that being said, same thing with your dialogue. Use your dialogue to push and contribute to literary fundamentals. And don't forget your nonverbals. That's a little bit different. That's more into the detail, but like I said, the dialogue that I just made off my head, really good. It's one line, but watch how it's elevated. Yes, I know you did it. You don't see me doing the squints. You don't see me doing this. But what about this? Yes, I know you did it. And then I take a cigarette from my Marlboro pack, take a deep puff, and blow it into the face of somebody I'm talking to. Your dialogue has been elevated to the next level just with nonverbal. So Watch your fluff too. You know, I guarantee you, a lot of people think that's mundane. No, it's not mundane because your novel, I know, is littered with fluff right now. You know, so put things on a scale of what you want to contribute to. Anyways, have a great time. Keep on writing. Never stop practicing. Hit the author jam. Get that practice in there. I might do, this is part 2. I might do a part 3, but not today because I love this. Like I said, it was so funny. Oh my goodness. I did the video and didn't press record, and then I'm like, oh shit, I didn't press record. I gotta press record now. Yeah, anyways, keep on writing. Have a great day. Ba-boom. Where's the off button now?